Welcome to day 35 of me trying to get rid of my porn addiction in 120 days. Today I want to talk about discipline, how me being off of porn has helped me become more disciplined, not only in not touching my willy, but also in every other area of my life. Now, what I mean by this is once I stopped watching porn, it became a lot easier for me to start going to the gym more consistently. It became a lot easier for me to say no. It became a lot easier for me to just do good things that in the past I would have thought would have been a lot of effort. For example, going to the gym. I've been in the gym for 3 years, but I've always been porn addicted. I was always addicted to porn. And that would cause me to consistently go to the gym and not have the best workouts. On top of that, it would reinforce my bad habits, because when I would watch porn, it almost became like it became easier for me to eat like shit, if you get what I'm trying to say. It's almost like the porn, I would watch the porn, oh fuck, I feel like shit. So how do I stop feeling like shit? Then after I get the dopamine again from the food. And it was almost like I was just stacking these bad habits. And getting off of porn and really redirecting that energy that I once used into those bad habits has really helped me now formulate more of like, what's the word? It really helped me to stay on track on the things that I actually wanted to do. If I was feeling horny, instead of me just jerking off, I'd redirect that energy into the gym, into me trying to build this YouTube. Also just reading, or just learning how to live with that feeling. If you are currently addicted to porn, or you're just not really that disciplined, it's not because you're not disciplined. You need to really think. Building discipline is just about doing the right things over and over and over again. And automatically, if you do the right things over and over and over again, it becomes easier. Like, for example, going to the gym for the first time is probably hella hard. Like, a lot of guys going to the gym for the first time, they feel so sore. They probably didn't have the best workout. But you moving past that feeling, you being like, fuck, okay, I'm just going to go again tomorrow, because I'm not afraid. You go again tomorrow, you still probably get sore, but it's less soreness, it's less feeling like shit, it's easier, 1% easier, or maybe a little bit less than that. You go day 3, it becomes easier. Day 4, you get what I'm trying to say. But opposed to watching porn, it's like you watch it once, oh, it's one of the best feelings in the world. Same with smoking weed, best feelings in the world. But the more you do it, you start losing that feeling, that excitement. And it's almost like the good habits are the things that suck in the beginning, but then have to turn out to be way better in the future. And the bad ones are the ones that fuck you up now, like that are good now, but fuck you up in the future. And what I'm trying to say is that you could build discipline, because you would build discipline in fapping all day, You build discipline doing that. But if you could build the same discipline in the other areas, then your life will just get a lot better. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that it was easy, easy for me to get rid of porn, but the way I started building more discipline in getting rid of this porn addiction is I started to really be consciously aware of what I was doing, and started scheduling my day and knowing when I would get triggers, if you got what I'm trying to say. Knowing when I was getting horny, and then instead redirected that energy into other areas, as I said before. So the way I did this was, there's probably a time and place, or there's something that triggers that porn addiction. For me, it would be when I would get into arguments, or I just wasn't having the best day, or I was just feeling like crap. And then what would happen, or also boredom. What would happen is I'd just be mindlessly scrolling on my bed, putting myself in the perfect position to relapse or just jerk off. And you might be doing the same thing. You might be doing something that is triggering your porn addiction. Maybe you don't, maybe it is the same thing as you. Maybe it's more of an emotional thing. Maybe it's just out of boredom. You don't have much to do. Either way, you need to be consciously aware of why you watch porn. That's the first thing that you need to do if you want to get rid of this porn addiction, is you need to be aware. Why am I fapping? Why am I fapping? And then when you start really thinking deep, this is when you'll start realizing, okay, I fap when I do this. So that when you finally know why you're fapping, what then happens is now you know what you can do to replace that habit. For example, I replaced jerking off with going to the gym. I was already going to the gym, but instead, when I was feeling like shit, I had an argument with my, let's say, like a girlfriend, or I had an argument with someone in my life, or I just wasn't feeling the best, there's just something going on, I would just go to the gym and kill myself. Not literally, but you get what I'm saying. I go to the gym and just push myself. Or I just get out of the house, go into nature, meditate, journal. I started replacing the action. And this is what they talk a lot about in this book called Atomic Habits. They talk a lot about, there's a cue, a behavior, and then there's an action. I don't know if it's exactly that, but basically you need to change your action when you get a certain feeling. For example, when you get horny, you don't have to jerk off. You don't have to, but you choose to, because it's the easiest way to get that to get that feeling that you got to be satisfied. You don't have to. You could sit there and probably in 15 minutes it'd go away, or you could just go do something else. But you're eager, you're craving it because you've been doing it for so long. It becomes a lot harder to say no. So what you need to do is you need to replace that porn habit with something else. And I'm not saying that this is going to be easy. This is probably going to take a few attempts. You might, honestly, realistically, if you've had a porn addiction for so long, you're probably going to relapse a few times, and that's okay. Relapsing isn't the issue. The issue is you being comfortable with you having this addiction. That's the real problem. But if you relapse a few times, bro, pick up your head, just say, okay, fuck. Like, be upset for a few minutes, and then just get up and be like, all right, what did I do wrong and what did I do right? Because you need to learn. Listen, I remember when I'd always get to like day 3 of no fap, and then after I just relapse and then tell myself that I just don't have it. That's not how it works, bro. It wasn't until I finally told myself that, fuck, all right, well, what am I doing? As I said before, I was just on my bed scrolling, seeing IG thoughts, like and then after I just fucking go back to and have a fapathon. It's like, bro, it's just I wasn't doing the right things. That's the thing, is you need to do the right things. And the more you start recognizing these things, the more you build discipline. And a really big thing for this is that you'll start building discipline just naturally if you just recognize this. If you put that energy you want to put into porn into other areas, you'll start building discipline, and it'll become a lot easier for you to focus in class. It'll become a lot easier for you to talk to that girl that you like. It'll become a lot easier for you to do things in life. Even if it's hard, you'll still have that like courage. And that's what getting off porn's all about. That's what self-improvement's all about, because this is what this channel is about. It's about self-improvement, but through getting rid of porn. Because porn is limiting you. It's ruining your potential. It's ruining your drive, your ambition, that hunger for you to go achieve shit as a man. Every man has this thing inside of them where they just want to go conquer. I've always had this feeling where I just wanted to do something like that wasn't like, I always wanted to do something bigger than what is advertised, nowadays. Like, for example, getting a job and just wasting your life away, with people you don't even like, and that's not to say that a 9-to-5 is worthless. No, there's genuinely people who like going to 9-to-5s, but for me, I just always wanted to do something like YouTube, inspire others through what I'm doing, be a leader. And to do that, I needed to build discipline. And as I said, the reason why I'm creating this challenge, or I'm doing this challenge and documenting all of it, is because I want people to see that it's possible. Listen, bro, it's possible. You can get rid of this addiction if you really put in the work and build discipline and tell yourself, no, I'm sick and tired of wasting my days, sick and tired of being this loser who watches porn, sick and tired of seeing other guys get the girls that I want. And now finally take control of your life and finally be that dude. And it's not cringe saying that. A lot of people say that it's cringe. It's not fucking cringe, bro. If you want those things, that's just normal. You're a man. Now, that being said, I want to end it off here. I know I talked about a lot, but all in all, what I want to get through in this video is that discipline, you will build discipline when you get off of porn. It's just going to happen. As I said, if you want to get rid of porn, don't just say I'm going to get rid of porn and do the same shit. No, you need to put that energy that you once put into porn into other areas of your life. Now, that being said, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Tune in for day 36. Have a great rest of your day.